What is the most Karen thing a person has ever done to you? I stopped at the grocery store after work one day recently. I pulled into the parking space as I usually do, and the vehicle behind me does the same, pulling into a space in a pretty sloppy, fast, and haphazard manner. I remember thinking, well, somebody doesn't know how to park. Next thing you know, this lady is coming up and banging on my car window. I lower it a little, and she starts scolding me for not looking where I was going and almost causing an accident. I couldn't really engage her because I was wearing a work shirt, and since this is a good job that pays me well, I don't want the company to be associated with the kind of carnage I really wanted to rain down on this heinous what I thought of saying 3 hours later, because that's just how these things go. Did you not see my turn signal indicating that I was going to pull into a parking space? Did you not see my brake lights indicating that I was slowing down? If you didn't, that means you weren't paying attention to the driver in front of you. If you did and chose to ignore them, that's just as bad. If an accident would have happened, it would not have been my fault. Maybe keep that in mind the next time your crappy driving skills almost cause an accident and you are searching for anyone other than yourself to blame. Oh boy, sounds like someone woke up on the wrong side of the parking lot. I mean, who doesn't love getting yelled at by a random stranger for no reason? But hey, at least this person didn't let their anger get the best of them and start a parking lot brawl, right? Silver linings and all that. Picture this. You're a teenager working in a grocery store in late hours closing up the meat department. Your job is to clean the place and occasionally help a customer with some of the pre-prepared meats and find what aisle has what. The time is now 8:30 p.m. The store is dead quiet and you're wrapping up your cleaning work and shift. Just making sure everything is shiny and chrome and rinsing off the last sudsy dredges from off the butcher tables. You're content with the way the soapy surfaces appear to be nice and clean under what's left of the still soaking tables. Enter Karen, stage left. Karen. Hey, can I get a ribeye cut to about 3 inches thick? You. No, I'm sorry, ma'am, we can't cut anything. The butchers leave at around 6 p.m., but I'm happy to... Karen, what do you mean you can't cut meat? Aren't you a butcher? You. No, ma'am, I'm the after-hours clerk, but I can take an order for you for first thing tomorrow. Karen. This is an outrage. Are you open right now, and is this the meat department? You. Internally. Oh boy, here we go. Yes, ma'am, the store is open, but the meat department closes at 6 p.m. except for the pre-prepared meats and orders. Karen. I drove from another town, and now you're telling me you won't cut meat even though you're open? You. Preemptively. I'm sorry, ma'am. If you would like, I can call the store manager, but the department is covered in soap. There's nothing we can do tonight. Karen. Yes, call him right now. I want to speak to your manager. Of course. Enter store manager in suit and tie. Stage right, explanation of situation and general rudeness from Karen. Manager. We'll get that sorted for you right away. Please get the ribeye and take it to the back, Bob. You do so reluctantly. Cue the manager who has put on a hairnet, stopping mid-stride after seeing the disassembled and soap-covered meat department. Manager walks back out to Karen, who is waiting triumphantly. Manager, I'm sorry, ma'am, we can't cut this tonight, but I can take an order for you for first thing tomorrow. You, face palm, from out of sight. The manager and Karen continue to argue unintelligibly as the stage darkens. The end. Ah, the joys of working in customer service, dealing with Karens who don't understand basic business hours and soap-covered butcher tables. I mean, who wouldn't want to be yelled at and scolded for something that is completely out of their control? And let's not forget the thrill of waiting for the manager to come in and save the day, only to have them tell the customer the exact same thing you did. It's like a never-ending loop of frustration and confusion. I have dealt with some fairly entitled people as a claims adjuster. I once had the misfortune of taking some high-end insurance claim. When our richer insureds hit someone or get hit, they typically get a personal adjuster who does everything. However, they sent it off to me, something about vacations. In any case, the best part about these claims is how easy they are. You basically say yes as long as it is not completely bonkers and write checks later. With that said, one of our insured hit this lady's Ferrari and Mrs. Ferrari lady wants to take it to the Ferrari dealership. I said fine and she demanded a rental. I told her that was not a problem. Take the Ferrari over there and we'll get you another Ferrari. She says, not so eloquently, not a freaking piece of crap Nissan Sentra like last time. I call the dealership and explain to them how to proceed. Make sure to get her into a rental, make it nice and easy, send me the bill, and we'll get it handled. At this point, I'm basically telling the dealership to proceed forward as they see fit, to shoot first and ask questions later. The last thing I want are problems with one of these claims, and we have the power and authority to do so. Our insureds paid crazy money for the extra service, even for their claimants. The guy on the phone tells me he'll make sure everything is good. I just gave this guy a golden ticket. He can hand her a $250 a day car rental and we'll be writing the check, no questions asked. Start repairs as soon as possible. Order the parts today. Don't bug me. Send the bill. He gets it. Life is supposed to be simple. I literally want him to email me the estimate. I send him the check and email him a screenshot. That's it. This claim should be freaking easy. I get a call 2 hours later. The woman is pissed. Maybe she got a dumb tech who didn't hear the news. Nope, even I couldn't get that lucky. She's out of her mind. So I talked to a representative that's capable of conversing without screaming like a banshee at everything. He explains she has refused to take a rental. I ask why. She wants the same year and color and model. He tells me he just spent 30 minutes calling any dealer in the city, knowing full well I will pay the markup for having the dealership rent a car from a competitor. There are no rental Ferraris in the area that match that request and none in the nearest 3 cities, apparently. I ask our manager. My manager refuses to ship in another Ferrari. Damn it. She goes bonkers and nothing is accomplished. I can't even get a word in. They take the phone conversation into the dealership service manager's office. He asks her why she will not take the rental. After all, this should be easy. And she said this: I need an exact year, make, and model of rental car because I am going to the country club this Saturday and cannot let everybody know I was in an accident. I could not even process that crap. I was in such a state of shock, so I said nothing. The level of entitlement was so absurd I couldn't even process it. This woman was one of the ultra-rich. Even a Sentra would be perfectly serviceable for me. This woman was devastated by not having her life in perfect order. The delay was long enough that they thought I hung up the phone. Oh boy, entitled people can really make for some entertaining stories, can't they? I mean, who wouldn't want to deal with a rich lady who's more concerned about her image at the country club than the fact that her precious Ferrari got hit? I'm sure she could have just arrived in a horse-drawn carriage or something if she really wanted to keep up appearances. Honestly, I'm surprised she didn't demand a private jet to get to the country club, or maybe even a helicopter, because why settle for anything less? Who cares about the inconvenience and extra expense, right? As long as she looks good in front of her rich friends, that's all that matters. I work as a server at weddings and catered events, so it should go without saying that I've had to deal with a lot of entitled people. But there's one woman in particular who stands out in my mind. The first warning sign was when the father of the bride was giving his speech. He ended by giving a very heartfelt thanks to the stepfather of the bride for raising his daughter just like he would have. Most speeches put me to sleep, but this was actually very touching. He follows it up by turning towards his ex-wife, the mother of the bride, and saying, "Karen, you're still a B." Yikes. Later in the night, we've just brought out appetizers, and it's a pasta dish. It looks like pappardelle in a sage and brown butter sauce. I've had it before. It's really good, but bussing it is awful because the butter gets everywhere. Anyway, I'm standing near my section waiting for the signal to start picking appetizers up when Karen walks straight up to me complaining about the appetizer. She's saying that the appetizer isn't what they ordered. As far as I'm aware, the appetizer's exactly what was listed on the contract. In any case, it's a problem for my supervisor, not for me. I let Karen know that I'll find our maitre d' so someone more qualified can handle her complaint. I walk into the back and find our maitre d' literally hiding behind the refrigerators. She's been dealing with Karen all day, and for her, this is just one in a long line of lectures she's gotten from Karen. After a 2-minute coaching session from our supervisors, our maitre d' is ready to handle Karen. In theory. 10 minutes later, and Karen is still chewing her out. Is it because the appetizer tasted bad? Was it undercooked? Did they request it differently? Oh no, she just wanted a different type of pasta. She wanted rigatoni instead of pappardelle. That's when I figured out it would be one of those nights. But I'll just talk about the parts that involve Karen. Throughout the night, Karen would complain to at least half the servers that the AC wasn't on. In truth, the AC was on all the way, but it takes a long time to cool down a big room in June. Each of the servers explained this to her, but nothing could stop Karen. At one point, she accused a server of just not caring. were wearing 3 layers of all black with long sleeves and pants. We care quite a lot about the temperature. Later on, everyone's had their entrees and the DJs called them back onto the dance floor. I'm standing near my section again. It's mostly cleared, and I'm thinking about seeing if there's a leftover steak in the back with my name on it, until, of course, I see a certain someone strolling up to me. There's a broken glass on the dance floor. It's been there for 5 minutes and nobody has cleaned it up yet. Okay, well, people really aren't supposed to bring glasses onto the dance floor in the first place, but of course, we do have someone on staff to clean these sorts of messes up. They happen. I go into the back and let our RA guy know about the glass. He does his thing, walks out, sweeps it up. Problem solved. 10 minutes later, Karen comes up to me again. I have to think she was targeting me so frequently because my section was closest to the entrance to the kitchen. I thought you said you would get someone to clean the dance floor. It is soaking wet and someone could slip and hurt themselves. Why isn't there anyone here in charge of mopping that dance floor? Okay, well, here we go again. I go into the back and find our janitor guy. There's another spill on the dance floor. Karen wants it mopped up. Well, we can soak it up with paper towels, but we can't mop. We'd have to clear the guests off the dance floor, and bringing the mop out would be a really bad look anyway. Paper towels it is. Our janitor guy, butler, and another server are out there every 15 minutes for the rest of the night, cleaning up spills for guests who don't give a crap. As for the rest of us, we hid in the back as soon as we were done with cake and coffee service. There was a lot else going on that night, in addition to Karen, and nobody wanted to deal with any of it. Resistance was futile, however. About an hour before the end of the night, Karen stormed into the back, drunker than hell, screaming about every little thing. Her guests were overheating, there was broken glass, puddles on the dance floor, the food was awful. Why isn't there anyone here in charge of my wedding? Our supervisor met her before she made it all the way in, and with the patience of a saint, reiterated everything we had told her up to this point. But every time he tried to speak, she would interrupt with, "I don't care." Her husband had to drag her out of the back. As one last touch, she accused us of stealing her purse while we were cleaning up. Turns out it was just on the other side of the room. This happens all the time, but it was the cherry on top for an already awful evening. Jesus Christ, man! Karen seems like the type of person who would complain about the color of the sky if it wasn't the exact shade of blue she wanted. I mean, what kind of person complains about the AC when they're surrounded by delicious food, drinks, and a wedding celebration? Sheesh, Karen, get a grip and don't even get me started on the broken glass incident. I bet she was secretly hoping someone would slip so she could file a lawsuit and get a big payout. But thankfully, our heroic RA guy was there to save the day and sweep it up like a boss. But the real cherry on top of this cake, which, let's be honest, was probably delicious, because the catering staff seems amazing, was Karen's accusation of theft. I mean, come on, Karen, we have better things to do than steal your purse. We're too busy trying to dodge your complaints and keep the rest of the guests happy. Thanks for watching till the end, and don't forget to subscribe and like for more of these ridiculous stories. Love you all, and stay safe out there in that crazy world. Much love. Peace.